Hello, everybody. Today we got Deborah and we got Keith Wong. We're going to talk about Paul Level, talk about Keith's startup, talk about the journey, and we got good stuff coming.
Yeah.
Hey, Deb. Hey, Keith. What's going
Hi,
on?
good afternoon, everyone.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for having us and bringing the group together. This is real exciting. As you say, we're here on a Sunday afternoon because we couldn't wait to talk about this cool topic. And I'm excited to hear deep dive from Keith. I have some questions and validations, being a finance person myself and having worked a little bit in the industry. I'm excited about the value of our topic today.
Well, I'm looking to share all my insights available to all of you, and be glad to show off what we can do in the hospitality world.
Cool.
Oh, well, Keith, what you've been doing the past 3 decades, what brought us here was Paul Level. I mean, there's a lot of mystery.
Thanks for the platform, the ability to even share with you. What I've been doing is basically opening my door as a host and service the world in the world of hospitality. My platform is basically hotel and restaurants and bars, and I'm able to do so in a manner where it's the only way I can do it to make a pleasurable experience to every guest that is before us. The unique word tolerable of my company is just a compound word that talks about having a basic standard of operating supplies. But in the new 21st century, the word tolerable has pretty much expanded into more of a digital insight, where the word PAR, PAR, is not the golf nature of it, but it is an acronym called Periodic Automatic Replenishment. And this takes us to the world what we're talking about today, where we can digitize our supply chain, our level of inventory, having proper levels of operating supplies without running out. But hence my domain, paullevel.com, the name of the company, and the experience of it.
Why now, Keith? What have you observed in your time in the industry, and what makes this technology so unique at this time that it's all coming together? What have you seen?
Well, let's start back in the days in the early, maybe the late 20th century, where hospitality has been prominent throughout the world, where everyone's traveling, wants to experience life, experience what's to offer, staying at luxury hotel, eating the best food, enjoying times with friends and family. But then going across time, obviously, in the cyclical nature of the business, has gone up and down roller coasters, and obviously the economic impact of the world has changed the travel and hospitality industry. And most recent, COVID. I really thought when COVID came about, when we were made to stay home, and basically my hospitality world is dead. No one's going out, no one's going to eat, no one traveling. And then post pandemic, most recently since last year, 2024, the hospitality world has came back like a boom. However, ownership was smart enough to know that they need to not be able to revisit another pandemic where they need to continue to maintain the profitability. So technology came into play to make sure that we were able to save some kind of money for the worst case scenario. So my position as a controller of finance individual in the hospitality world, we had to find better ways to save cost.
Well, walk us through generally, not too deep dive, but just walk us through. I was the chief financial officer of an amazing company called Tavistock Restaurants. We were able to really expand it. And I remember when we first went in, we noticed that some of the front of the house and major employees were good at counting inventory, but we didn't really want employees who were good at counting inventory. We needed the most important thing were employees that were really good with the guest, giving them an over the top experience. And that's what we wanted people focused on, not like, where's the manager? Oh, they're back in the warehouse again. Tell us how inventory first and par level negates that need and really takes care of all the manual process, the stuff that's not exciting, the stuff the guest doesn't see, but is linked to the guest experience.
Yeah, you're basically calling out my heart on the floor right now. The back of the house in hospitality is truly an unseen world. But however, absent of that does not allow the front of the house to return back to provide the customer service that we're all trained for. Hospitality in general is all about providing exceptional guest service. But in order for us to provide such services, we need to have the supplies in our hands, the tools to do the job. So most of the time, to prepare for this, you require our managers and staff behind the scenes to prepare for such a conversation like a stand-up meeting or taking a moment to check to see what we have so we can restock our supplies. And basically, the crux of the problem right now is, are we talented enough to have the proper levels of supplies to provide the level of service that we need to provide? And the answer is no, and continue to be no, and continue to be the hardest challenge pain point in hospitality today. Just a couple of notes to consider. We require our manager to be an Excel spreadsheet expert to
Mhm.
able to create an inventory list, let alone creating the inventory list. They don't even know how to use Excel. So do we have to train our managers to use Excel, train our employees to constantly produce and update the list, and provide some kind of a grid form where they can go ahead and check whether it's check every day, every week, or whatever frequency is needed. So that's something what we call shelf to sheet, where the sheet is modeled after the same pattern of how we display our items on storage. So self to sheet will list off from left to right, top to bottom on the items so that we can just go ahead and count off everything. But to be technical about it, they're not smart enough to know a specific item on the shelf, whether the product number, where they order it from, the pack size, the unit measure, the quantity of the item. Do they pack 12 in a case, 24 in a case, and so on and so forth? You probably need a science degree to even learn how to do all that. Well, anyway, the back of the house requires such detailed information. So today, you'll be surprised to know and to learn that they still uses this methodology of pencil and paper, shelf to sheet to count inventory. And it hasn't changed for centuries.
Oh my god.
Long as the operation has, that is a problematic pain point. Well, okay, let's say you're smart enough to have a manager with Excel spreadsheets. But yet, having someone to religiously and consistently taking that, printing it out, putting it on a clipboard, running downstairs to a storeroom, and doing a physical count to monitor the restock level of when you need to have it or how to have it. And not to mention, you need to understand the frequency of delivery. Just because you're out, you don't even know when the next delivery comes when you place the order. So do you need to order enough? Do you need to over order? Do you need to order for the sake of ordering? Or do you need to order because you have a strategic plan to buy? No one's asking you to save money for the sake of buying, but they're asking you not to run out of basic fundamentals. If you run out, obviously you are hurting your brand and not providing the services that you need to provide. But over ordering, you're putting money on the floor because you don't need to have that much product. Oh, I buy all this because it's a discount price, but the discount price may not necessarily foot the bill with having overspent on cash. So this is where I believe Paul Ever comes in with a technology called inventory first. Regardless of all the purchasing program that's out there today for hospitality, they always forget about the inventory steps before you need to place an order. So when they created all these applications out there for hotels and restaurants and bars to order from, there's no hand holding to tell you this is how much you need to order, this is how often you need to order, and this is why you need to order. So Paul Level comes in today with an inventory first mindset to give you an autonomous level of inventory before you even need to order. So when you open up this application, it will tell you this is how much you have already. This is how much you need to order before the next delivery truck arrives. so that you do not run out. And this is how much you need to order so you don't overspend to maintain your budget level. Our level should be smart enough to give you a periodic automatic replenishment level. In the old world, we call it minimum level and maximum level, and we have to figure it out with simple math in our head. But right now, Power Level will autonomously do that for you, regardless if you want to do inventory or not. This means that it completely eliminates the task of taking inventory. Power Level will autonomously take a level of your inventory at every second of uh, of every interval you wish to look at. So that means that you are saving labor, you're saving cash, and you're saving time. Today, when I operate hotels, it averages roughly about 6 to 7 hours a month just to count inventory.
Hmm.
And imagine the hours spent per month multiplied by year. That's a full employee, full body employee, full FTE, full time equivalent of an employee paying roughly $80 to $100,000 just to count inventory so that you know what to order. So what do? We don't count.
Yeah.
We shoot for the hip. Yeah, our operation today, if you ask anyone warm and friendly who understand the business well enough, who fights this pain point, they don't count. They just wait till they run out and they go ahead and do maverick spending. They
Right.
last minute plan to rush to the supermarket, pick up a phone and call the vendor, can you send me a rush delivery? Every of these steps requires an extra dollar just to get the product in house.
And when they're
And the
running
pain
around
point exists forever.
and when they're running
Yes,
around
Deborah.
doing that, they're probably not doing what you really need them to do, which is preparing and customer service and really focusing on the guest.
That's correct. And then to continue with this customer service, well, we also have reporting back to our ownership. So with Polyver, we're able to go ahead and monitor our systems and controls to make sure one, we're not spending the money that we don't need to spend, and two, to ensure that there's no spillage in our system where every product being served is rung up at a point of sale system. Well, most of the time today in the normal operation in a manual setting, we wait to the end of the month when the finance department calculates everything, reconciles everything, and reports the results. Paul technology will be able to give you the results at moment's notice, instantly. The difference between your levels of inventory from opening to ending inventory, that delta, that change should equal to your consumption of what you have sold. And that consumption should always equal to what you have rung up in your point of sale system. You now have an instant reconciliation of how much sold, how much consumed, how much collected, and how much was paid. So this is something that any owner will have some kind of a relief knowing that an autonomous system can give you an insight to know where the delta, the change has been occurring, and you can react sooner than waiting a month later for your financial results. And this is why Paula will needs to exist today.
Yeah. It's so funny. I remember being the CFO. I was the new CFO to that restaurant group, and their systems didn't talk to each other. Well, definitely the clipboard wasn't talking to the point of sale system. It said we had a lot of Opus One in the warehouse, and we continued to order it, but we never sold it. So I think it was going missing. I think it was being purchased, but there was no way to validate what was live or reconcile it and maybe come up with new menu items. Talk a little bit about high level the technology. What I love about this is it's using cutting edge AI and vision. It's utilizing it, but it's not so complex and so cutting edge that it doesn't function. It functions really well. Talk a little bit about some of the technology you have today, and then also some of the advancements you're planning to make very, very soon?
Well, thanks for bringing this up. One of the core principles of Power Level is pattern depletion. With AI vision, we are constantly looking at your consumption through the inventory value. Inventory value is based on taking a constant snapshot at every interval, whether it's every second, every minute, every hour, however you want to program it to. It will constantly maintain a pattern depletion. Knowing your depletion level, you'll know what to order, what not to order. Knowing your depletion knows that depletion is obviously either being consumed by employees or owners or consumed by your customers, which is rung up in your point of sale system. So the pattern depletion is the sage point of Power Level, where we're constantly using AI vision to monitor without having any humans running down to the storeroom, opening a cooler, looking at anything. That really gives you the calculation of what we started with and what we ended with for any interval of time. And you're able to calculate these numbers. These data aggregations that we're using AI intelligence, pumping it through a neural network. It will get smarter and smarter every day. It will remember what it used to be. It will remember what it is today. It will remember that, oh, it was here yesterday. How come it's not there tomorrow? So it will remember all these things, and you can now have actionable insight to say, with a report to say, hey, we used to have 5 yesterday, and all of a sudden that 5 is not here, and it's not in the point of sales register. So where did it go? So in a perfect world, it will also give you an idea of what to order if it's sold, and it will tell you that okay, you're not buying enough. You need to buy a little bit more to maintain the next level of the delivery schedule. So Power Level should be smart enough using the AI as simplistic as it is right now, because it requires us when we do it manually. Once we do it manually, we have to sit down and digest the information, don't we? And that information is being done by calculation algorithm, which helps us to make decisions, thus returning back our managers back onto the floor, providing exceptional services.
Yeah, yeah. Love it.
Yeah, Keith. So when I was looking at your slide deck the first time I saw this MOU, I said, "Oh my God, Keith is probably mocking us." Because in our, depths, my world, MOU is memorandum of understanding, but you have it, average spending, overspending, and underspending. That is exactly what you're trying to crack with Power Level. Now, there's something else that also caught my eye, which is the procure to pay. To talk, yeah, procure to pay. Is there something that you
Yes,
can tell us a little bit more about? Yeah.
yes. So I've always been bewildered why there are so many vendors out there in the hospitality world coming out with procure to pay systems where it helps today to provide a purchase order, a marketplace, a receiving event, a storage event, and a payment event. This whole wrapped up cradle to grave system. And it helps hotels, restaurant, bar today very well. It does a wonderful job. But I fail to understand why all these applications forget about the decision making of buying. It dismisses the whole entire idea of why you need to buy first anyway. So they forget about the
Mm.
inventory management approach. So now they finally realize that, well, procure to pay is great. Having a PO cut all the way with an invoice and receiving ticket to match so it will process the payment. It saves a lot of time and it creates a sound system in the back of the house. But they're scrambling to realize that they need inventory first in the procure to pay system. Without that connection of the two platforms of inventory and then procure to pay, you really don't have a cradle to grave system. You don't really have a sound system in place of an ecosystem where the back of the house is completely foolproof. So you can look at Power Level
Mm.
today with two different modules, Power Level AI Vision and Power Level Impress. Power Level AI Vision is our living inventory platform where we will digitize your inventory and make it live, active, constantly reporting back the level of inventory that you have at any given time. And then Power Level Impress is our procure to pay solution where it provides you with a requisition, a purchase order, a storeroom fulfillment, a restock level, a receiving event, and of course the payment event, which everyone in the hotel and restaurant business know to exist. The great part about Power Level living inventory can be layered to every hotel, restaurant, and bar with their existing procure to pay system. So we're not asking anyone in the marketplace to change the whole entire system. Just layer over the living inventory portion of Power Level, and they will have a better management system for the back of the house. And if there's a restaurant, hotel, or bar that does not use the procure to pay system, of course, Power Level can provide a procure impress module where procure living inventory and procure impress module can live proactively in their system.
Deb, what do you think? Is it a defensible business model? Is it pie in the sky? Is it feasible? What do you think, Deborah?
Yeah, from my perspective, with respect, I'll throw my fellow finance and accounting people under the bus. Some of the processes are to satisfy the corporate office and accounting, which you need to do, right? You need procure to pay. You want to do invoice matching. Okay. But those are table stakes. That should come as at a base level. What Keith is describing here is not only we have a system that's not built by the finance and accounting department, but it's built by the operators that satisfies all the things that the accounting and finance needs correctly, supposed to do that, but really makes the job, it's built by the people who interact with it most, use it most, and frankly are going to benefit most from it, which is really exciting. And from my perspective, I see all types of spin out benefits enables you. I mean, you could pick up working capital, cash flow from this. You can have a better relationship with your liquor vendors so they understand what is needed. That allows them to schedule better service, more discounts. So I really am excited because, like Keith is saying, it's inventory first, but it's almost we use so much technology that you are using and leveraging technology to put the people first, whether those are customers or people providing the customer service. That's what gets me so excited about this.
I definitely appreciate the point you just made. Indeed, it is people first.
People.
It is exactly what hospitality talks about. Customer first, people first, whether it's an external customer or what we call ourselves internal customers. If we can serve the people every day behind the house, the people who produces all the exceptional experiences, we are not doing hospitality any justice. We have to take care of ourselves as well as taking care of the customer that comes in. Most definitely. Thank you for even mentioning that. I appreciate that.
Speaking of customer service, Mandarin Oriental opened in Vegas, and they were like passing out this rate for 150. So I took one of my wives there, and they remember our
One of your wives.
names. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Lowe, welcome back. You ready for dinner at about 6:45 p.m.? I said no, that's too early. That was amazing. So I keep talking to people and say, well, I think AI, yes, is going to change the job landscape for sure, but also it allow us to have more bandwidth to make people-to-people connections. I mean, you got all of this intel provided back at you on demand. You're looking at your iPad or whatever wearable. And say, oh yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Lowe approaching. Let's just offer them some dragon fruit or lychee or whatever, right? Because you have the intel. What do you think of that? Is that something Power Level is going to deepen the human-to-human connections?
Well, I think Power Level will be able to not address exactly what you're referring to, but it will definitely eliminate a lot of the slack that is required to be done in the back of the house. And again, I repeat, by returning the managers back to the front side where they are remembering to address them by their first and last name, understanding the guest history, knowing your pattern of consumption, knowing that you like dragon fruit, or knowing that you have visited the Mandarin Oriental before. All these things require time as true managers, as true hoteliers, hospitality people. Just recognizing the customer by eye, by facial feature, and by presence. You cannot do that if you're sitting in the back office looking at bills and invoices and looking at catalogs and digital purchasing and so on and so forth. Returning the manager back to what they're fundamentally trained to do. That is the part where par level assists in making sure that the mundane work, the unappreciative work that's done in the back of house can be done correctly, soundly, and trustworthy wise.
Love it.
Wow.
That's so fascinating. I know Ken and I, yeah, we live in San Francisco. You drive around and you see billboards there. Hey, my AI and app is going to eliminate humans. And then we have some people that pitch us and talk to us. Well, it's going to do everything human in the loop. I love what you're doing here because it's leveraging cutting edge technology to put the people first, and it's just so clear in the hospitality industry. Talk a little bit about this. Some people may or may not know, but when you're talking about inventory, especially for drinks, Keith, is that the business area that is driving a lot of the profitability and experience? Probably one of the most important, if not the most important, profit drivers in a high-level luxury resort.
Yes, for individual watching us talking about par level, let me give you a little insight of the hospitality industry's business model. We operate in the rooms division where we sell rooms. We operate in food, and we operate when we sell beverage. Those are probably the top three money makers that exist in hospitality world. If it's a restaurant, obviously there's really no rooms. If it's a bar, it's only beverage, maybe a little bit size snacks. But in the overall hospitality financial world, beverage subcategory, alcohol, liquor, is the number one profit maker with the less amount of overhead and payroll and supplies. Almost to 85% profitability for a drink made today. But par level does not stop here today, nor does the competition even know that it is not just about liquor alcoholic beverage inventory. Par level can address the storeroom in the rooms division, how much paper towels, how much gift supplies, soap and shampoo, all consumable items that is delivered to our guests should be maintained in the same kind of understanding of consumption. In the beverage world, we freely flow our alcohol 2 ounces, 1.5 ounces. Yes, we can monitor that just as well by taking a constant vision of that bottle of vodka, and you can measure it to the ounce. And you can even measure it to the recipe that is called for, whether it's in a Moscow Mule or an old fashioned. You know that recipe. You can trickle down to the amount of ounces poured by the bartender. Now, if an establishment wants that kind of detail, we can provide that. But the first challenge today is to make sure that we have the product on hand so we can make that signature cocktail, a cocktail of Moscow Mule or an old fashioned. But hospitality world has a lot of different revenue centers, whether it's parking or laundry or just a city within a city you can think about. There is some kind of a remedial profit and loss. So we do concentrate on inventory in the back of the house that is consumed, delivered weekly, daily. However, we put it on a scale, we put it on a account sheet. We just need to make sure that what we purchase is being consumed and properly dispatched to the proper locations and charged accordingly. The things that people don't understand, but if you relate and compare that to just a normal household, we run to the supermarket, we check our prices, we check out how many pounds of beef we're buying, we check on different ounces of packaging that we buy, and things like that. It's the same thing. What we do in the hotel hospitality world is the same thing what we do for our home.
Keith, I'm looking at the deck again, and you show some amazing value. Can you talk to us about the waste? Is it billion of dollars or trillion dollars of waste due to stale, to overbuying or underbuying or whatever the inventory pitfalls are?
Well, I would like to think that I am controlling all of the hospitality, hotel, restaurant, and bar around the world, which I don't. But in the world market cap, hospitality industry is a $4 trillion table.
Four
And
trillion. Wow.
4 trillion. Yeah,
Yeah.
think about it. Airlines, movie theaters, hotels, every place that requires a customer service point of view is pretty much hospitality. And then in the United States, we're talking about roughly about 100 million in the sense where hotel, restaurant, bar is primarily requiring the amount of services that's required to deliver such services. And as one person, one company, I want to be able to reach to my networks of hospitality, hoteliers, restaurateurs, and bar slingers to be able to service a better way of running the business more profitably. In the whole entire market space, the most congested is probably restaurants. And the most probably failures in restaurants is because of not knowing how to operate properly and buying way too much, not having the proper connections with the supply chains
Mm.
where you're not buying in a bulk format or last minute format, most likely. So Paula will eventually will come into a market space where we will aggregate all our buying power for every subscriber in the Paula will to be the 1,000 pound gorilla of buying whatever
Mm.
supplies needed. And we'll pass that savings on to our customers.
There's some small countries that hospitality and tourism is their whole economy, right? So you think that's real exciting.
Yes.
You mentioned a couple of other things that I find fascinating about this particular product, and also you, Keith, is you've gone out to several of your colleagues that are in the industry experiencing the same thing and told them what you're putting together par level, you've got the technology built out. Talk a little bit about some of the response and potential traction you're getting with some of these other people.
When the ideation of Paula will came about, it was more about the challenges that I personally endured throughout my career, working with my peers, working with my supervisors, working with my director, area director, managers, or even owners who have been my biggest fan club. And every time I said, wouldn't it be better if I create something that would solve this problem? And I told
Mm.
them that I am going to work on that. And they have been constantly my fanfare to check on me to say where you are with this. To a point where I even reached out with several questions. And I said, wouldn't it be nice if I were to say, I can save you 5 hours a day in counting, let alone 5 hours a month in counting, because you don't count every day. You're taking a risk and chance of buying too much or not enough. So you do count once a month. Wouldn't it be better if I were to say your counts are done autonomously without you sending your bartender or your manager into a cheese factory because they're the one who's buying and using? So there's no separation of duties at all either, let alone having proper level of inventory. So they all came back saying that it would be great. I would be first to use it, and I would probably enjoy the fact that I can save so much money in labor and not worrying about overspending. So I reached out to them again and they said, hey, Paul Level is here. Are you ready for it? And they're all with open arms, looking forward to using it.
That's exciting. Yeah, that's exciting. A lot of people, build out technology. Well, let me build it and they'll come, the fact that you've gotten almost this level of interest and traction, and we haven't even gotten it out into the wild yet speaks to your domain expertise and how brilliantly both you and Ken have architected this solution and put the solution together. It's not an afterthought. It's not something that is already out there, people putting together. Say I'm a operator and they do have some technology. Do they have to replace all their technology to use this? How easy is it to integrate Parlo?
Well, definitely, Paul Level is a purposeful technology. It was made specifically for hospitality individual by an individual in hospitality. We know enough jargons, we know enough pain points, we've been there before. We don't have a sales pitch because we need to be able to provide the solution that they all seek. However, the hospitality world does not know what their problems are until it is presented before them. So why Paula is important to come out of the market today is to provide that solution, show it to them and say, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Most of the competition out there today are provided by solutions in just a technology point of view, not an operational point of view, not by a user point of view. So we are looking to do this with warm bodies, knowing that they have pain points today. They address it with more labor, they address it with time. And if we present ourselves with just a handshake, knowing that they can just try it out once, they will always welcome to continue to use it. And we all know technology can only survive as long as constantly used. It can be forgotten, but if it's constantly used like coffee in the morning, Par level will prevail to be the primary back of the house solution for every hotel, hospitality, restaurant, and bar.
I never seen Deborah smile so happily when you talk about this pre-sales, that demand is already in place, already been nurturing this relationship. That's a good news.
The more I hear about this, the more I get excited, and I'm a finance person. What's gonna really excite me, and I love the interest. We reached out to people to see if they wanted to purchase this, and we had overwhelming response. And you know that you're onto something great if the same people also want to invest in the further of the company. So I just think that's real exciting. And Keith, you've been a dream to work with and launch. You're super energizing. So thank you.
At Par level is not just providing a technology player in the hospitality world. Par level is also a data aggregate. If you think
Yeah.
about it, once Par level is in the market space and hotel, restaurants, and bars are using it, our data consumption can.
Oh, that's the juiciest part. My God, Keith left. He's leaving us hanging.
I think we had a mic drop and he left. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, drop your mic there, Ken. But I think, yeah, that's a good reminder. We'll all be at San Francisco Tech Week, the week of October 6th. We're hosting a couple of events. One is a Blue Angels practice show on Thursday afternoon down in the marina, San Francisco. And then we'll also be meeting with not only clients, but investors that want to learn about more. I know I've mentioned this to my contacts, and not only do they want the functionality and implement this is also teaching a lot of these operators. It's like their own research and development department. It's really helping them learn about so many people. I got AI. I got AI. How is AI working for you? We've got artificial intelligence that's actually working for people. So I think that's what's really exciting about our solution.
Wrapping up, let's jump into this rapid fire. Let's go. I got 8 of them because I'm Chinese, so always use 8. So first one, what is one inventory mistake even you still make when you're tired?
Not knowing the specifications of what to buy. And most of the time when I buy it, I just basically click purchase. And when the product arrives, it's the wrong size, the wrong color, and the wrong quantity. So to be technical about things, you need
Oh
to
my.
have a science degree to know what you're buying. Unfortunately, it's just the reality of life.
Great. Second one, what's a myth about AI in inventory that needs to die already?
Maybe AI to do the work for you to buy, but it's not the buying event. It's the insight of quantities that you have
Mm,
in house. Buying is always the reactive nature. So if
okay.
AI is replacing the reactive nature of things, that's not the solution. AI should be the proactive approach. AI should be the safety net
Proactive,
approach of most back office solutions.
being proactive. The third one, what is a manual task that you secretly enjoy and refuse to automate?
You'll be happy to know I'm pretty much hands on when it comes to receiving any purchases that comes in to the loading dock, all the way to the level of touching fresh fish that's arrived, fresh beef or pork or poultry that's arrived. Just like how your mom go to the grocery store to buy these products, they don't pick the first one on top. They pick the one on the bottom, knowing that that's the
Right.
freshest.
Always.
But there is a science behind
Love it.
hospitality receiving events where we know how to look at the eye of the fish to make sure it's fresh, pull open the gill to make sure it's deep, deep red
Mm,
color, press the flesh of the body, and it bounces back knowing that you're buying the freshest item. But the most scientific part about it that a lot of hoteliers, restaurants, and bar slingers do not know is that they need to put that product onto a digital scale and weigh it. Because if you're buying by the pound and you're receiving by the pound and you're paying by the pound, you want to make
mm.
sure that you didn't lose any poundage during delivery.
Yeah, I did that in Tokyo in the fish market. And then I was pushing the tuna, and then they chase after me. This tattooed man. Anyway, favorite snack in a vending machine. Go.
Maybe a can of Diet Coke, my biggest vice right now today. Everyone knows around being with me, working with me, that I am a big Diet Coke consumer.
Like,
Advertisement, placement advertisement for Diet Coke. Well done. Yeah.
we give them a slot for endorsements on Power Level. What is the weirdest or most unexpected way someone will use Power Level?
In every angle that I see, Polyvo will never be used to replace a human person. It is a tool to assist in any of the duties. And if I were to install an agentic agent into Polyvo, again, it is only more of a support
Hmm.
than a takeover.
Cool.
What is a surprisingly hard part of the inventory that outsiders never thought about?
Huh. Inventory always seems to happen at the end of the month. And rightfully so, because most accountants, finance department closes the book at the end of the month. Regardless if the end of the month falls on a Saturday or a Sunday, we do the physical count. Did you know that you and I both celebrate New Year's Eve, which is the end of the month in December? However, while you're revelating and celebrating and looking forward to the next year, yours truly finds himself down in the storeroom New Year's Eve counting champagne bottles that you're consuming.
I think of this all by myself in the inventory room. Okay, the seventh one. What is one KPI that actually makes or breaks operator success?
Inventory turnover ratio is all about cash flow. If you have a healthy
Cash flow.
inventory turnover ratio, and if you don't know what that is, shame on you. Inventory turnover ratio secures a cash flow that is healthy for your operation and for your ownership.
Meaning, as an example, say a restaurant manager believes that they're gonna buy a certain liquor that may sell at a high price or people want, so they'll have to front the cash, buy it, but as it turns out, no one really drinks this particular drink, so you buy it January
Mm,
and you're still ending with the same bottle that you had and the same amount in December. The
mm,
turnover ratio is very you're not selling any you're detecting this through the inventory because you're like, "Wow, I didn't have to replenish that." Maybe that sounds like it's good news, but that's really bad news because it's tying
mm,
up cash. Maybe you have another bottle of wine that you go through 4 of them a day, and you could be putting your investment toward that. So, yeah, oh, that's interesting. That's really fascinating.
oh.
Thank you.
It sounds like a teenager living rent free at the parents' place. They just won't turn over. Failure to launch, right? Right, Keith? That's the turnover ratio. You rather find something maybe less profitable, but it's gonna be off the shelf or just like sold quicker than something that higher, more lucrative product.
Maybe we can go ahead and use this term allowance. How much money did your parents give you to buy what you need to buy without having to ask for more? And if you're a smart teenager with the allowance given to you by the parents, and if you can go ahead and mindfully spend and have some savings, you can earn some money behind it and worry about your next allowance. It's exactly how we operate in hotels and probably have a level
Mm.
of inventory turnover ratio. It's basically dollar and cents.
I love it. Wow. Okay, that takes us to the last question. In one word, Keith, what's the future of inventory management? This is going on to the merchandises. So word it carefully because the more word you put, the more printing costs going to be.
I guess it's the acronym of the namesake, PAR, all level, periodic,
Yeah.
automatic, replenishment.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. Thank you so much for not falling asleep. I'm not used to people, staying awake throughout for the whole duration. So I really, really thank you for spending time with us on the set
Yeah,
Sunday.
I'd love to share this with my friends and my network around the world who can probably understand better than me articulating what I really do. Because when people ask me what I do, I just say, I don't know. I just run hotels.
Oh, Deborah, any closing words?
No, no,
Any
you
words
you
of
covered
wisdom for
everything.
us?
Thanks, Ken, and Ken, you did a great job. I love the rapid fire at the and thank you for bringing us to yeah, you were one that had the relationship with Keith, and we're grateful because this is something that Arc 5 and Par Level is just gonna create the perfect alignment and opportunity for everyone. If
Yeah,
Awesome.
I look forward to your wonderful results, Deborah. I trust you implicitly of all the things that you are going to do. This has been a dream come true. Again, I tell Ken I'm still pinching myself almost to a level where I have to throw up because I just don't understand what's going on.